Hello, and welcome to our first ever Hersey Golf podcast. Today we're going to be bringing in our first guest, Chad Tramba, and we're going to be breaking down the success that the Hersey Huskies have had during the 2021 MSL season and where it's going to bring them to next. Welcome to the Hersey Golf Player Interview Podcast. Here today we have myself and Connor Durkin, and we're joined today with Hersey Varsity Golf #1, Chad Tramba. Today we're just going to be going over some of the main points during the MSL 2021 golf season. So to start it off, we're going to talk about before the season. So we're going to talk about how do you think the summer swing and course lessons that CAP offers during the winter and summer help Hersey during the season?
Well, first off, let's just make one thing clear. CAP is our head coach. He was unfortunate to join us today. Something short minute happened, I think, but CAP, if we reference it, which I'm sure we all will a few times, we are talking about Cap Russo, our coach.
Dan Cap Russo, yeah. So, well, basically, the camps Cap ran throughout the season, you know, they really just helped you kind of improve your overall game throughout the year. I mean, everything coming to just the technique, skills and stuff, and then on the other side, like mental stuff, really kind of helped you calm down on the golf course and then understand every shot isn't so bad, and then you can always get stuff back.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it. Definitely a mental game when it comes to golf. It's just really easy to get carried away in the moment and take yourself out of a round after one bad shot. Something that I myself have learned this year is how to stay in a round even after a couple bad shots and basically just persevere.
Yeah, for sure. And then, you know, definitely with kind of going off what Jake said, I mean, there's been tournaments this summer where I've hit 10 consecutive bad shots, and then I'll lose some strokes there, and then I just go back to an old feeling that maybe Kat taught me or my teacher, and then just kind of see how and just adapt throughout the round.
Okay, so you did IJGA or tournaments over the summer that weren't for Hersey, but as an individual, what would you say your favorite summer golf memory of just training for the season?
My favorite summer golf memory, tournament-wise, would have to be playing in the state junior am at McRae. I mean, McRae's notorious for being one of the hardest golf courses in Illinois, and sadly I wasn't fortunate to make the cut, but I was happy with how I played. And working this summer, it was just awesome to really kind of see improvement throughout the start of my summer to the end of it. So just kind of kept grinding from there.
Is there anything like in particular, especially you've noticed growth with?
Definitely noticed I've really narrowed down a lot of my misses. So I'm not really too worried about if I'm missing such a bad shot. I know that I can get it back, or it's not as big as it was at the start of summer.
So some of those summer golf tournaments can be pretty big, right? Like especially the Illinois State Junior Am. Mm-hmm. Were a lot of the players you played with like big names at all that like a lot of people would recognize?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I played in tournaments in Wisconsin, Indiana, and obviously tournaments in Illinois. And I mean, I've played second rounds of 2-day tournaments with kids who are playing Division I golf, and just the experience from them playing has really helped me see what you have to do to get to that level.
Do you think that playing with those guys helps you during that round?
Oh yeah, 100%, because those guys they're so good at hitting the golf ball, and they can almost hit it wherever they want, and it makes me think to myself, okay, we need to step up and try to perform at their level as best as you can, because I know I'm not there yet, but if I can try to perform what their level, then it's really helped me out.
All right, that's really good. So now we're going to do you have anything else to add?
Well, yeah, I was just going to say, sticking on topic of playing with players that are super close to your talent, if not better, is there one name in particular that you trained with?
Last year, Henry Quinn, obviously, former Hersey golfer, plays at Butler now. I mean, any of the seniors last year, honestly, and then my good friend Luke Kruger over at Prospect, we've really pushed each other this year to be the best we can.
Yeah, it was a really senior-heavy team last year.
It's a super senior-heavy team. I mean, me coming in there as a freshman and then playing on an all-senior team, it really was a lot to me, and I had to know how to calm myself down at times and hit shots when I needed to hit shots, or even just post a score that maybe one of our seniors wasn't playing as good as the time, so I know I needed to step up and fill that role at that moment.
Do you think playing last year was going to help you going into this season? Like, how big of a step up in role is going from, the 5 or 6 to being, Hersey's number 1?
Yeah, no, it's big, definitely. I mean, I knew that over the summer that Cap's going to be leaning on us mostly, and from losing all the seniors, it's been tough, and I've just known I have to step up my game, and I can't be having the blow-up rounds that I have had last year and stuff like that, and I need to be more consistent with my scoring, especially at being at the 1 position.
So then what were your expectations for yourself and the team, in all honesty, before the season started?
Honestly, the expectations were obviously not as high as last year, just we lost a lot of talent last year, but I still know that it's Hersey Golf. I mean, we work so hard out there, and we can improve ourselves throughout the season so much. So I knew we weren't going to be bad, and I knew teams were going to look at us and say, oh, they lost all their talent, they're not going to be competing with us. But in reality, we did compete with most of the teams pretty darn well throughout the season.
Yeah, that's right. And so before the season, you're talking about how much Hersey Golf works to getting ready for the season. One of the things that our coach implemented this year was Brain Room. So can you quickly explain how Cap used Brain Room to develop the team and get ready for each match?
Yeah, so Brain Room, I mean, it's a huge thing. I mean, on the golf course and off the golf course is a whole different separation, but you could go to a golf tournament not prepared at all, and you could be super skillful, but if you're not prepared to what's to come at the holes you're going to play, the conditions you're going to play in and stuff, you're just not going to play as good, and it's almost a fact. And I mean, Brain Room's really affected me because, I mean, even over the summer tournaments, me and Cap would kind of run through the courses before I had the tournament the day of, and we'd kind of boil down where we need to hit shots and stuff and where we need to miss and stuff, or where I can miss and stuff.
So, do you think that's, the Brain Room was also part of, the bonding experience, getting the entire team into a classroom, going over holes? And with that, how do you think that, helped Hersey to, succeed in some matches that they really, really prepared for well this year?
Yeah, no, it was huge. I mean, we had some guys who didn't know the course at all, and when we went in there, spent 30 minutes just going over holes, playing to each other's strengths and seeing what's best to play this hole, and if I need to be aggressive to make a nice score because the next hole is going to be challenging and tough, or if I just need to lay it back and take my par, stuff like that.
So one other thing, you mentioned Cap pulling up to your summer tournaments. Did he pull up to a lot of them, or just a few?
Definitely not a lot, but I mean, any of the tournaments that Cap locally could come to, I mean, we would always I'd talk on the phone with Cap for 30 minutes before almost every turn that I played this summer. And I mean, especially with Henry too, I mean, Henry helped me so much, especially at McRae, just getting me prepared for everything to come. Because you might think McRae's an easy golf course if you're playing good golf, but you can get screwed over in the second, in 1 second.
I completely agree with you. All us three played in that tough McRae loss.
So the first match of the season, Hersey had to take on basically just a death match going into McRae against Barrington, one of the top teams in the state this year. McRae being as hard of a course as it was, Hersey did not perform as well as they would have hoped. We all put up pretty terrible scores, to be honest with you. And that was one of the main building points of the season, getting back from that, and could Hersey come back from such a devastating loss? So, what did you talk about with Cap, or what were your, mental processes coming back from that, going into what you had to go through next?
I mean, honestly, I think both of you can feel this, but we were pretty scared to see Cap the next day.
Oh yeah, 100%. 100%.
It was not something you'd look forward, definitely. I mean, especially as you're 1 and 2, I mean, we clearly did not perform how we should have.
No.
And McRae's hard, but there's no excuse for playing that bad and being mentally out of it the whole time. And after that, I kind of feel that's where we implemented brain room a lot. Was for McRae, we definitely did study it, but I feel like now we knew what we needed to study more in the brain room, so that just kind of helped us from there.
So after that, we had to go over to Mount Prospect, where we totally changed up the pre-game plan. And what was all the work that we went through going up to that match, and how did we perform really in that match, do you think?
I mean, honestly, it was one of the best performances of our season. I mean, for what we did, I mean, there was guys out there constantly. Like, our match was on a Tuesday, I think it was, or a Thursday. And, I mean, we were out there almost every single day. Like, over the weekend, as I've said, my buddy Kruger plays on the Prospect golf team. So we were out there. We played 18 both Saturday, Sunday. We were out there with Cap, with the team, just trying to get as much holes on the front nine as we can, because that's how we know our matches. And when we came into the match, we were prepared, unlike Prospect. I mean, Prospect thought they had an easy win against us, and then we ended up beating by 20 shots. So it was really happy to see Cap kind of know that we have his back and stuff for now.
Yeah, and I think that was just like such an uplifting moment for the Hersey team. Last year, with such a talented team, they weren't able to get it done against Prospect at home. So, it really just like struck home the message to all of us, I think, about preparing and like really diving into the courses and knowing what we had to do to get ready. And like you said, it was such a great moment after that round, seeing Cap just overjoyed.
That was probably the happiest I think I've ever seen Cap.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, I mean,
I think we could probably throw up some pictures. I was able to grab some shots of Cap hugging all the players.
Oh yeah, it was awesome. I mean, I've spent so much time with that guy for so many hours at the golf course, and it's the happiest I've ever seen him. And I think that's like the first time we beat Prospect in a long time, and to do it at Mount Prospect, it's surreal.
Yeah, we almost made it like a home away from home, I think. And I think that's definitely going to come big time for regionals on Wednesday.
For sure.
We played it so much.
Oh, yeah. I mean, with our regional course being Mount Prospect, too, it's not an easy golf course. I mean, if you're hitting bad tee shots, you're going to get screwed over by the course. So you just need to be prepared, and you need to lock down your shot process and hit the shots you need to hit.
Yeah, I mean, we're at regionals now, so we've pretty much played the whole season. What would you say was the most impressive match of the year? Would you say it's that Prospect one?
It had to be. I mean, there's nothing that can come close to us beating Prospect by 20 shots. Like, when me and Cap were even talking the night before, and we said, like, every shot's going to matter because it's going to be super close. Mm-hmm. And me and Jake played like every shot mattered throughout the whole entire 9. And I feel like that's what just led us to be shooting like such a good score, especially at a hard golf course.
And I think a big part of that match was getting into the Prospect players' heads like fast and early. They came out and made bogeys on the first hole, I believe. Like they're 1 and 2. And like me and Chad took an early lead on them, and we knew we had them right then.
Yeah, I mean,
that, like if we continued our game plan and play the way we want to play, Prospect was not ready for us at all. They did not expect us to come in there, right?
Yeah, no, and definitely. I mean, as you know, like Luke was my pretty good friend, so Luke was talking and he was saying kind of, "Oh, we're gonna beat you guys. We have so much more talent." And I told him, you guys have more talent than us, and we know Prospect has more talent than us, but if you're not prepared for us, we're going to stomp on you. And that's exactly what we did. I mean, kind of what you said, getting in the player's head, that was huge. I mean, I made birdie the first hole. I'm pretty sure you made par.
Yeah.
And both of them made bogey. So
Kruger had just topped the shot.
Yeah. I mean, Kruger was talking all this, and then he just got super nervous on the fairway, topped his shot, then we just kind of pounced on them from there.
That's right. So going after that match, we had a couple more. Finished the season at what was it, like 7-5, or what was that?
I think it was like
7-5, something around there. And then we went into the MSL Championship at the Bridges of Poplar Creek course. None of us had really played that course much.
No.
So you want to talk about that day and how that unfolded?
I mean, it was a really hard day to play golf. I mean, it was windy. It was cold. It was one of the first days out there where you really had to kind of judge the wind, judge the cold. I mean, I started strong, but then, I mean, you cannot hit bad tee shots at Poplar, and that's exactly what I did. And clearly the score showed from there.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was the first time for me I really had to take wind into account. However, I mean...
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's crazy to think, like, how much a 15-mile-per-hour wind can push a golf shot. I mean, there was times where I'd play the shot 20 yards out to the right. I mean, all I can remember was on hole 2, I have this massive crosswind blowing to the left, and I'm almost aiming at, like, the 4th or 5th green, and I'm letting just the wind work it all the way back in, and then I ended up making a really good par from there.
So do you think that there may have been any unforeseen players play well that day?
Definitely. I mean, I got to say Connor Durkin.
Yes, sir.
Like, I mean, I saw this kid come out, and he was in the morning. He was eating his McDonald's on the bus. I'm thinking to myself, damn, well, I just hope this kid does good today, you know. I'm hoping for him. He's been working his entire high school career, and he told me his goal was to get one single medal, and he ended up being an all-conference player.
Sometimes that stuff just happens. It was on for me that day, so
clearly.
Very happy.
For those of you who don't know, MSL All-Conference is like a pretty prestigious award handed out to the 20 best players at the MSL. 10 of them are chosen at the MSL conference day, and 10 of them, like Chad was, are developed through points over the year. So Chad was able to get in that top 10 over the year, which is like very difficult to do. MSL is a very difficult conference, and it's very hard to get into that. And me and Connor Durkin were able to get into the top 10 on that day, which was pretty impressive for Connor Durkin. You know, he's been working his whole career. It was pretty great to see.
Very happy with the outcome.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, like, coming into those how you said earning points throughout the season. I mean, I think that was me just kind of, because you earn points throughout the 9-hole matches throughout like individual like teams, and honestly, like for me, my goal was to just I wanted to have a scoring average close to par, and I didn't play the best in 9-hole matches, but I mean, there were definitely times where I showed up, hit shots that I needed to hit, and I was overall happy with how I played throughout the season.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. So do you think, so you made all conference, how much did that mean to you knowing so last year, right, you were able to get very close to making all conference as a freshman, which is super impressive, I would say. But you had that unfortunate back injury, right?
Yeah, it was a intercostal muscle strain. So it was like almost my right side of my body would not function. When I swung down, it would just be constant pain. So it sucked, but yeah, because I knew going into the conference tournament, all I had to do was play well. And I mean, it's at our home course, and I almost always play well there. So I knew I could do it, but it just was unfortunate that I couldn't.
I think for you, with you being so young, though, it's the hard move to make, but definitely sitting out and knowing you still got 3 more years to train, I think is definitely a smarter move, even though it was a hard move.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it sucked. I stayed home today, got on Zoom, especially last year, and I realized, dang, I should be out there fighting with my guys right now, but it just was unfortunate.
So that probably meant a lot to you this year, right? Then getting that all-conference medal.
It meant, especially me knowing I earned it throughout the season, meant a lot to me. I mean, I knew going into the conference tournament that I was already all-conference, so even Cap told me I don't have to prove anything. I don't have to go out and shoot a crazy, ridiculous low number. And I guess I kind of took that, too, into accountability after my final score, but, I mean...
Yeah, I mean, we balled out at conference, though, all in all. And, I think it's a great sign for what's to come for regionals. Oh, and, if we all have one more good day, then, we're on to the next fight. But one thing I do want to ask you is, what do you think our chances are with state this year if we keep playing the way we're playing?
If we keep playing the way we're playing, I don't see why we could not go down. I mean, especially if we play how we did at Mount Prospect. I mean, what I really want to point to you guys is we still got 2 more tournaments, so we're even worrying about state. So what's on my mind right now?
It's just one battle at a time.
State's not at my mind right now. Honestly, state, cool, but I'll worry about state after I get it done at sectionals.
Yeah.
And because, I could not even make it to sectionals depending how I plan regionals, and especially our team, too. We need a good, solid 4 scorers to advance because Prospect's going to be on top of their game, and Buffalo Grove will be, too, out there.
Yeah, so you said that regionals is coming up. Regionals is going to be on Wednesday this week in 2 days. How has the team been preparing this weekend, and how are they going to be getting ready for that event today and tomorrow?
Oh, so it's kind of how we did for when we played Prospect at Mount Prospect one time. We're out there. I've been out there for the past 3 days with Cap, just working, just hopping around holes, seeing the course, seeing different breaks with the greens, seeing where I need to miss when I do. You guys know there's some holes out there 2 you cannot go left. Just 7, that's one of the hardest par 3s I've ever seen. It's not that it's long, but that green is stupid.
Right.
You guys seen?
Completely agree.
Especially when I played with Jake. My ball hit the top and just rolled almost all the way down throughout the green. So
yeah, Chad probably landed this ball about 5 feet to the hole, but just if he got a foot more, it wouldn't have spun back all the way down this hill. But the green has a massive slope on it, so he had about a 30-footer, maybe even more.
It was probably 40 feet.
Maybe 40 feet.
And I ended
tons
up
of break.
hitting a super good tee shot to a 3-putt bogey, which what you gonna do out there?
Yeah, so you just gotta be prepared for that event. I know Hersey's gonna be prepared. Cap is gonna make this team as ready as they can be for that event.
Definitely. We're going out there today, and we'll be out there tomorrow for practice rounds just to try to see the course as much as we can and really grind it out there on Wednesday.
So what do you think? Let's get some insider perspective here. What do you think the keys are to having a good round at Prospect?
You have to hit good tee shots. Tee shots are super, super important out there, and greens too. Greens and rag, just you got to be on top of your game. There really isn't a point in your game where you can have a flaw. If you're not hitting your irons good, you're going to get punished out there. But you just got to be on top of your short game. If you're not hitting your driver well, you got to be able to recover super well. So it's just the entire course. Especially with those greens out there too.
Yeah, that's one thing I've learned this week is lag putting.
Lag putting's huge.
Big thing there.
What I say to myself, I'm like, why do I shouldn't be having to worry about chipping because I should be hitting the greens. Chipping's obviously important.
Yeah.
But I'm not too worried about chipping as much. I am focusing on my 150 shots in. There isn't a reason any of us should be missing a green from a pitching wedge down. And even with the conditions, it's not that far of a shot where it's really affecting our ball flight a ton. But you guys still know out there if you're off most of the greens, it's a really hard up and down from almost anywhere.
Yeah, that's right. A lot of the place out, a lot of the play out there is to hit the greens, like you said. And if you're not hitting the greens, then you got to go to your backup plan. And if you're not chipping well, you're not going to have a good round there. It's just not possible. You could be hitting every fairway, but if you're not hitting the greens and making yourself get easy looks at the putt, it's just not going to work out for you.
No, definitely. Especially off the tee, that's my biggest focus these next 2 days is I need to hit myself because I'm usually a consistent iron player. I hit my wedges actually really well, and my putting has been iffy lately. But I know if I set myself up off the fairway, then I'm almost guaranteed making a par. So that's just the goal for Wednesdays to be above 10 greens or fairways in rag. So that's only missing 4, which is pretty reasonable out there.
Anything else you have to add about the rest of this season?
Yeah, rest of this season. I think proven by conference is that anyone can score and anyone can have a good day. So you just got to go in there with a positive mindset. I know Prospect's a hard course, but anything's possible. So just keeping that mindset, I think, is big. And definitely mention putting. One big thing for my game is I've been able to go up and down a lot this season. It's something I really pride myself in doing. So, just short game.
I mean, you can't harp on it enough. I mean, you can't practice it enough either. I mean, it's all short game. I mean, especially out there too. Like how you get down, kind of up and down, as you said. I mean, it's for me, like, I've always excelled at short game, so it's not really been the main focus, but I've really had a hard time placing myself off tee shots. And I know that if I can do well, I can give myself looks and, hey, maybe even go low.
Exactly. I mean, obviously it's different for everyone. Just whatever you feel you need to work on, just do it. And conference time.
Just definitely got to become ready to battle. I mean, everyone on that prospect team wants to beat the living crap out of us.
Yeah.
I mean, even Luke, like, especially because
I know. We mentioned that the little rivalry. Chad and Luke have had a friendly rivalry. They're really good friends off the golf course,
for sure.
And I think on the golf course too. You guys still play with each other. But to tell them the story, what you did after hole 9 at Prospect, what you walked over to Kruger's bag and did.
Yeah, so Kruger, he was talking. He was talking before the round.
I think you mentioned that. You mentioned that multiple times.
There was a lot of talking before the round.
Lots of chirping.
And a lot of chirping. I mean, this kid, like, I woke up to a text saying, "Hey, are you ready to get your ass kicked today?"
All right.
And I was like,
Kruger.
All right, just we'll see. And then I don't know if it was the best idea, but it was definitely a funny, definitely got him back at it. But I went up to his bag and took his glove that he used for the round and gave him my signature on it and dashed it with the 149 to 169 score that we ended up beating them by.
I still think that's legendary. That is a great trash talking move right there.
I mean,
I think honestly, they should incorporate more of that beef like into golf as a whole. I hate how people say, "Oh, it's a gentleman's game. You got to shake the dude's hand."
It's a good thing Cap isn't here because he would totally disagree with me.
I mean,
but
I think it's good to have a rivalry.
Say,
I think
having a rivalry definitely brings out the best in golf, and it really shows how much you can play under pressure. Because I mean, over the summer, me and a couple of my buddies went out to play at this really nice course, Kemper Lakes, and we were crap talking. I mean, because we played $50 a person. The winner got $300, and then or $200, and so basically we were just trying to get in each other's head as much as we possibly could. Like, I mean, we were like, we just say shank before they even hit the ball, and they'd end up shaking it because they're like shaking. They're so nervous. But I mean, that's the thing about golf. Like, you have to know how to play under pressure too. Especially if you guys seen like these playoffs. Like, you've seen Simon go into a playoff, totally calmed down, just got the job done in 2 holes, and then it's pretty impressive to do that without even feeling any nerves.
Yeah, and there's probably like 100 people watching that playoff.
Yeah, there's a
Wildcat invite.
There's a good 120 people watching there, players and coaches and family members too. And like, honestly, with that many people watching you, like, how can you not be nervous at all? I mean, I've even talked to some of the pros, like you guys both know Brad Merrick, and I mean, I've talked to him kind of about nerves, and he goes, "Dude, do you know how nervous I was teeing off the ball at the PGA Championship?" And it's like, he goes, "I know I'm that good," and he ended up making the cut, which is super impressive. And he tells me his first tee shot on Saturday that he was nervous, and he just got it done, and then just kind of trusted his game and flowed on through that.
Yeah, so that's great about Brad Merrick. We're going to talk a little bit about, like, going back to conference, I guess, with Luke Kruger, playing under pressure. With that putt on 18, he had a putt to bring it to a playoff hole, I believe, with Nicholas Simon. I think the entire MSL was watching.
Just
everyone was there watching.
There wasn't a person not watching, and I mean, I talked to him that night after because obviously, we're pretty good friends, and he came over to our house after, and he just kind of told me what was going through his head, and I was like, dang, like, you just gotta relax.
Yeah, what was going through his head?
I mean, he was nervous. He didn't know where the putt was going. He told me he said it was really hard to tell kind of what's going to go on with this putt as we were on FaceTime that night, and he ended up missing it low, probably 2 feet short, and he didn't really give it a chance. But what I have to say is he went up to Nicholas Simon after that and shook his hand, which is something both Nicholas or Luke have had a hard time doing because those two they're friendly, obviously, but they both want to kick each other's asses on the golf course, which I want to do to both of them too.
All right, now going to the future, what do you think next year looks like for Hersey Golf? They're sending off a couple seniors, but keeping most of the talent, right?
Yeah, I mean, over the...
Bro, come on. Yeah. Like, dude. Why you can't...
We love you, Derek.
Come on, man.
No, it sucks. I mean, to see the seniors lead. I mean, you see this kid show up to conference
77.
and post our best scorer on the team, and I mean, we're definitely gonna be better than we were like this year, just the next year, because our almost entire starting six consists of one senior, which is you. And they've kind of been off and off. We haven't really had a set lineup like we did last year. I mean,
everyone's taking their time.
It was Henry, Ty, Max, Drew, me, and you the whole entire season. But now Cap's been really coming to me, seeing how people have played on the course, like how people are acting like on the course, like when they're hitting bad shots, what are they doing to calm themselves down? Or because you've even seen, like, I mean, I've done it a ton of times where I hit a bad shot on the course and I don't know how to react to it, and I'll get frustrated with myself. I'll throw a club or something because I know I'm not that bad at golf.
Yeah.
I'll tell myself after I 3-putt, I'm like, dang, like I'm really not that bad.
Yeah, you should not be doing that.
I can't be getting down on myself for that, but definitely keeping. I mean, Moises is gonna hopefully be.
Moises is gonna be big. He's always out there working. No matter weather, time of day.
I mean, that's someone who, as much as people look up to me and how I play on the golf course and how I work. I mean, honestly, my motivation is, it's obviously a friendly motivation, but I want to work. I want to be the hardest working person on the team. Like, I want to be the best on the team, and I want to be the best. And that's obviously just self-motivation. And because if you don't want to be the best, you're never going to be the best. That's what my dad has always told me. And I obviously want to be the best. But obviously, like Moises, you see him out there. I've seen him out there working after 18-hole matches until dark, which is, I mean, it's really impressive.
Commendable.
It's for someone to go play 18 holes, not play how he wants, and go and practice for an hour. It's kind of like almost Bryson does after the Ryder Cup today. I mean, my friend was there, and he was just telling me Bryson was there till 8 o'clock working on the range with the lights on, and he was just trying to figure stuff out throughout the year.
Yeah, so I think we do probably have a great future ahead of us. A couple of the other teams in the MSL will also be getting better, so we're gonna have to rise to their challenges. And
prospects
improving.
losing some of their talent. Obviously, I think they're losing 3 of their 6 starters or 2.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, throughout it, prospects got a lot of depth. Like, I mean, they got kids that can step up and shoot 2 over, 3 over throughout a 9-hole match, and playing at the 4 spot. That's pretty decent.
That's all you need, really.
And, I mean, if you can get 4 scores in the 30s, you won a match. You automatically won a match if you get 4
against
scores.
Anyone, really.
Almost against anybody, just because that's how hard Hersey, or anybody actually can play against you guys. I mean, last year we lost one match to Prospect, and that was just because, I mean, I remember Ty didn't have his day. Henry was not playing the best either. I definitely didn't have my day. I don't think you played the best either. And it's just hard. And Prospect, they didn't put up a good number either.
They just played better round
they
that
just
day.
Shot. I think they beat us by 5. And, I mean, looking back at that, we know how madcap was the day of practice because we threw away shots. I mean, we were focused and threw away shots, but that's what I feel like Cap's really harped on this year is you can't be throwing away shots. I mean, especially in these 9-hole matches, I mean, double bogeys kill you. Doubles they're so hard to get back because you have to do twice the work to even get back to par to there. So it's really, if you can stay under those expectations, you're even doing better than what's expected, and that's kind of helped me focus when I'm not playing poorly, is still kind of feel like what I need to do and how I need to finish for the team.
All right. Yeah, I think that's a great message to leave off on, and that's going to wrap it up today. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining us, Chad, and from Connor Durkin and me. We're going to look out for this Hersey golf team coming up at the regional match and making it on sectional state. So from me, Connor, and Chad, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.